Hello, welcome to another episode. So today I'm sharing with you 4 things which, if you do one of them, 2 of them, or maybe all of them, are likely to mean that you're going to fail here in Italy, or at the very least have a really negative experience. And I don't want you to do that. So let's talk about them, shall we, so that you can avoid doing these and you can have a much better experience in Italy. Let's get into the video. So the first big mistake that a lot of people make, which often leads to them failing here in Italy, is that they consistently whinge and complain. Oh my goodness, you only have to spend like 5 minutes in an expat group on Facebook to see this highlighted as bold as brass. Now, there is a little bit of a problem with this, because if you are constantly whinging and complaining about your life, not only are you not much fun to be around, but secondly, you're likely to rub people up the wrong way, whether you speak the same language or not, whether you are in your birth country or not. People do not like being around others who complain and whine and whinge all the time. It's a simple fact. The way that you can help yourself here in Italy is to be more accepting and to be more patient with the way life is here. There are many things about life in Italy that drive me nuts, that irritate me, that I cannot understand, that frustrate me. But I have come to learn in 4 years that if I consistently complain and whinge and whine about these things, not only would I not be any fun to be around, but also I would just not enjoy my experience here. And what would be the point of that, considering I chose to move to Italy in the first place? So I cannot stress enough, to whinge, complain, whine, do all of those negative things does absolutely nothing for you. Does not change the frustrations that you may be feeling. In fact, it just amplifies them and makes them worse. And unfortunately will not bring about a more positive response from other people, especially if that is what you're after. So cut out the whining, cut out the whinging, cut out the complaining, and I think that you may start to see things unfold in a more positive way for you here in Italy. And the second mistake that people often make, which leads to them failing here in Italy, is that they fail to recognise the importance of language. Now, this is a bit multifaceted. There are different layers to this particular topic. On the surface, it is the general ability to communicate, to form connections and relationships here in Italy. The language is of optimal importance for this, but also it goes a bit deeper than this, especially if you come to Italy and you have it in your mindset that everyone around you should know your language and should speak your language, and you kind of have that superiority within you. These are factors that are ultimately going to lead to you failing here in Italy. Let's take English, for example. Now, English is a predominant language in the world and is spoken in a vast number of countries. However, in Italy, especially in the south, it is a language that is limited. And if I had moved here to the south of Italy and I had expected people around me to speak in English with me and almost been offended if they hadn't known how to speak with me, I can tell you quite frankly and very honestly that I would not have survived a month here, let alone nearly 4 years. You have to be able to accept that language is extremely important, but it's also extremely important that you can adapt to the language of the country that you are in. Now, I know it's taken me on paper perhaps a long time to learn Italian, but the fact is I never once moved here expecting people to speak in English with me. In fact, those moments where people have wanted to speak in English with me, I have cherished, because I know that this is a rare occurrence where I live. And so I recognise and appreciate the effort that people make when they want to speak in English with me. But it isn't something that I've come to expect. And that is the difference. And I am learning Italian because I understand that it's going to open up many more doors and windows of opportunity for me here in Italy, more so than just hanging on to my mother tongue language ever could. So I think it's just recognising that language is multifaceted. It's not just your ability to succeed in everyday life situations here in Italy, but also your ability to form connections and partnerships and respect of other people, to gain the respect from other people because you are making the effort with the language in the country you are living in. And it's something that I cannot stress enough. If you do not treat language with the importance it deserves, especially here in Italy, you will face a lot of difficulties, and I don't say that lightly. Another mistake that people often make that leads to them failing here in Italy is if they show no interest in local traditions, cultures, and just the general way of life here in Italy. Now, I know that there are pockets of communities here in Italy, especially military communities, particularly in Naples especially. I know that there is an American military base, and it's a bit of a bubble really. Like, you have families that live on that base and you have everything you could need on that base, to the point where you don't even need to leave if you don't want to. But that's a pity, because the whole point of you moving to Italy, whether it's because it is a work-related reason or through choice, is for you to experience some of the culture that makes Italy so special. And I think if you are not interested in what is going on around you in Italian life, in the culture and traditions, you're missing out, and it's a real shame. And so I feel like this can lead people to fail because they don't recognize the beauty of what you can find here in Italy, and they don't look for those moments either. They don't pay attention to like traditions and festivals that take place here that may not happen in their own country, and then there becomes that distance between that person and the country they're living in, and so there's always that disconnect. Whereas if you make an effort, even if you don't fully understand like the traditions, I don't fully understand every tradition here in Italy. There are a lot of religious festivals that simply do not exist in the UK, for example, but I always try to make an effort to understand what's happening, to do something symbolic on that day, like what a typical Italian would do, for example, if it's like a festival day or patron saint day, something like this. Even if I don't fully understand it, I try to immerse myself as much as I can, because I think it's all about learning and growing and adapting to a different culture. And you can only do that by paying attention to what is going on around you and to everyday life. So I think this is a big mistake that people often make, and it's a pity as well, because it limits you as a person and it just limits your experience of life here in Italy. And the fourth mistake that people often make that leads to them failing here in Italy is if they just show a general lack of respect for the Italian way of life. Now, of course, there are many differences between life here in Italy compared to life in the UK, for example, but it is about respecting those differences and allowing them to help you to become a better person. So I've spoken about this in lots of videos, including this one up here where I interviewed Sabrine, a fellow Londoner, about our experiences of living here in Italy. And we both agree, like, you know, Italian people are generally a lot friendlier compared to people in the UK, for example. And if you come here to Italy and you behave as if you're back in London and you don't say hello to anybody, even though people speak with you, you are going to gradually isolate yourself and not create the best impression for yourself, which ultimately is going to lead to you failing here. So I can only say that it is really important that you try to adapt and integrate yourself into life here and take on those little cultural traditions and quirks that maybe don't even exist in your country, whether that's speaking to strangers, whether that's respecting Sunday as a day of rest and not disturbing people with work matters or any other matters that are unimportant, whether that is, you know, giving little gifts when it's like Easter. It makes a real difference to your experience here and to the way that you're viewed as a person. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little video. I just wanted to share some insights of some things that I've learned over the 4 years I've been living here. If you like this video, I think you'll also enjoy this one up here, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.